Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of my cryptocurrency series in English. So back in September 2020, when I started the series, I shared in episode 2, I shared what is my cryptocurrency investment, what does my portfolio look like, what are my top 10 cryptos that I have invested in, why have I chosen those cryptos, and I kind of explained the rationale behind it. So today we'll be looking at how those cryptos have performed in the last 3 or 4 months, where they're sitting today and what kind of performance that they've had, what kind of growth that they've had. Also, we'll be looking at people who've been following me on Twitter. I share some information with regards to the new cryptos that I buy, and also in some of the episodes. So today we'll be looking at what I have not shared so far in YouTube in terms of the new cryptos that I bought in the last few days or weeks and how they have been performing and why I have bought those new cryptos and why I have invested in them. But before we get on to the video, the disclaimer again is that I am not an investment advisor, I'm not an investment expert or a crypto expert for that matter. So I've explained multiple times in this video that I started learning a lot of these crypto investment concepts that I've been explaining back in the beginning of last year in January 2020. And that's kind of when I spent a lot of time, weeks and months spending time to understand all of these concepts. I was wondering if there was a way that if it was explained to me much quicker. So which is kind of what I wanted to do with this video series, that whatever I have learned, whatever I have understood, as per my understanding, I wanted to share that learning with everyone through this video series, and that's the main intent of the series. So definitely do not take my word for it as a financial advice or an investment advice. Do your own research. This is only a learning process. This is the process that I'm explaining in terms of how you can safely buy, own and sell your own cryptocurrency without depending on anyone. So that's the intent of this video. Now let's get into the video. So this is what I had shared in back in September 2020 when I had listed down what are my top crypto holdings. So Link and Zab obviously are still my top crypto holdings, and they are basically the Oracle coins, like I explained what Oracle is in my episode 1 and episode 2. So obviously the adoption for Link has been much higher. Zap is still yet to see that kind of adoption, but still that kind of forms my top 2 cryptos even today, and probably close to 50% of my portfolio is made up of these two, I would say. But LRC is still sitting at my third top portfolio. CRO I've already explained in multiple videos separately, so we'll probably not talk about it in this video. So we'll be talking about the rest of the videos, and XRP we have again covered it enough in multiple videos, in multiple episodes specifically dedicated to XRP. So we'll take a look at, and obviously I am not buying any new XRP. Like I said, I bought it only 2 years back, and there was a special holdings that I had bought as a historical holding before I understood a lot of these crypto investment concepts. So we'll be taking a look at all of the other cryptos, and I had explained why I had bought all of those cryptos, like ENG for example, the gaming coin that is backed up by Samsung, and Data, how it's having a good reference point and strong business case behind it. So obviously all of these had a strong business case behind it. There was a strong technical team working behind it. So what is happening to the values as of today? So on 22nd September, I've kind of captured the price reference point in terms of what the pound value is. You can go to any crypto graph and you can basically look at what the price is, and that's basically what I've done, taken the price. And all of these I'm comparing first with current date, and then we'll also look at what are the peak prices from that point till now. So Link obviously has performed really well, from about 6.60 pence that day on 22nd September to today, 23rd of January, when I'm making this video, sitting around 18 pounds 46 pence. So in Indian value, roughly it went up from 650 rupees to about 1,843 rupees, which means that it's 270% in terms of the value today. So if you had invested 1,000 rupees in Link, for example, you will be looking at 2,770 rupees in total. So 277% will be the value today. If you had invested 1,000 rupees, it will be like 277% of that value today. That's the percentage that I'm showing there. So obviously everything has done really well. StoreJ obviously is probably the least growth in terms of today where it's sitting, but we'll also look at had it gone higher during the peak price. But Engine Coin, for example, recently it had a very good growth. So it was sitting at around 10 rupees when I had posted the video. Now it's sitting around 30 rupees, so 10 pence to about 30 pence. So again, if you had invested 1,000 rupees, you were probably looking at 3,000 rupees. So you invested, let's say 1 lakh, you are at the moment, you're probably having like 3 times that money, about 3 lakhs in hand right now. So that's the kind of growth that these cryptos have had. During this period, a lot of other cryptos have also had phenomenal growth. I'm not denying it. There were several other cryptos, including Bitcoin, obviously. There are several other growth cryptos that were backed up by a strong technical team that really grew well. But some of the scam coins that I talked about, especially in my episode 5 and 6, I think, they have literally stayed flat and they have not increased even during this bull run. That's the reason to back up some of the coins with strong technical team and a strong use case behind it. So obviously, when we look at the lowest price point, so when I posted the video, that was basically in the bear market, it wasn't the bull market. It was when prices had gone down, and purposefully I chose the time to post the video during that point of time. So anybody who's starting to invest will see these low points in time where they can put money into it, and it's only going to go up higher. It's the expectation that I had. So obviously, Link, for example, when I posted it, the very next day it went down to about 600 rupees, and today, if you compare it, it's more than 300%. And Zap obviously went down to about 3 rupees 50 pence in November, in a couple of months after I posted it. And on 2nd December, within a month, it actually grew up to about 12 rupees nearly, 11 pound 90 pence. I mean 11 pence basically. So it was 331%. And LRC, obviously, it went down to roughly about 9 rupees. And a couple of days back, it was peaking around 33 rupees, which means that if you had invested 1 lakh, you were probably looking at 3.7 lakhs in LRC if you had invested at the lowest point and if you had got it at the highest point. Obviously, this is a reference point. Nobody could have invested at the lowest point and got it at the highest point. That's a reference that I'm giving in terms of the growth that these coins have had actually. Band and FET, I had kind of mentioned it in my episode 11 on November 21st. Apart from these coins, those are the new coins that I had bought. Those are also currently, from that point onwards to where it stands today, they have also done decently well. So if you invested 1,000 rupees, you're probably looking at 1,460 rupees. So if you invested 1 lakh, for example, you would have got a 46,000 return of investment on top of your investment. And Fetch, if you had invested 1 lakh, you will have a 73,000 rupees investment, return of investment on top of it. This is in a span of 2 months. So, you're practically looking at 46% or 73% return of investment during that point of time, which is on top of your 100% investment. Again, if you take the lowest to the highest peak points, basically we do this comparison to understand if there is value in this project or not just to gloat that, like I have mentioned about this project and it's actually gone up higher. By doing this, you kind of understand, okay, yes, there is a value in these projects, which is one of the reasons why in a bull market, when there is a real blockchain, when there is a real project, it actually goes up. Band and FET, obviously, from its lowest price point after I had posted, Band at 24th of December and FET at 9th of December, they were at the lowest price points. It had come down even after I had posted it. And that was like the perfect dip to buy those coins. And they had gone up more than 200% in terms of the total value. On 22nd December, I posted a note in my Twitter account. I tweeted about a coin called Injective Protocol, INJ. And I said that I'm actually taking a small position in Injective Protocol. I explained why I am taking a position in Injective Protocol. It's because they are tokenizing share trading basically, for shares like Apple and Twitter, where you can't buy those shares from anywhere in the world. They're restricted to the certain regions. Like for example, in India, you can't buy some of the shares listed in New York Stock Exchange or London Stock Exchange. And they are tokenizing it to enable people to buy those kind of shares basically. So what happened to Injective Protocol was, when I had tweeted on 22nd of December, it was roughly sitting around 250 rupees. And today it is sitting around 23rd of January within a month's time, literally less than 1 month's time, or about a month's time. It's sitting at around roughly 266% in terms of total value. So it went from 250 rupees to about 664 rupees, which meant if you had invested 1 lakh, you're probably sitting at 2.6 lakhs in total in a span of less than 1 month or around 1 month range. So why did it go up, or why did I particularly choose the 22nd of December? So I will explain that, but before that we look at some fundamentals with regards to how do I buy, or when do I decide that I want to buy. People often ask me in Twitter and everywhere that when do you decide that it's the right time to buy a coin? And I often say that I don't buy when it's actually going up. I wait for a dip, because when a coin is really doing well and it's continuously going up, there is, in my opinion or my understanding and my analysis that I've seen so far in the last 1 year, I've always seen that there are dips which is technically called as a retrace point. And these dips are probably the perfect opportunity to buy these coins which have a good value and they are actually going up, and you can see that they're going up and you expect that it is going to go up. But it's basically a judgment call. I mean, if you look at this graph, for example, I just drew a rough example where it could be a dip where it continuously dipping and then picking up again, but it might be reaching a highest peak, and from that point what's happening is practically not a dip, but it could be a big crash like 2018, where it took nearly about 2 years for it to recover. For example, when the big crash of 2018 happened, Bitcoin was sitting at around roughly $20,000, about to touch $20,000, and it dropped down to less than $3,000. Huge drop in value, most of the coins had. And if people had actually bought at the peak of it, they would have probably lost a lot of value, and they would have had to wait for nearly 2 years before they can even break even in some of those cryptos, for example, even Bitcoin for that matter. So that's why you don't know whether it's going to be a dip or whether it's a big crash. But at least if you start to buy the dip, you're not buying at the highest peak. So that's one thing that you're making sure that by not buying when it's actually peaking and waiting for a dip, you're at least making sure that you're not buying at the highest peak. But no one can time the lowest entry point or the highest exit point. If somebody says that I bought cryptocurrency at the lowest price and I exited out of the crypto at the highest peak, then they're practically lying, because it's really impossible to predict what is going to be the highest peak. So the objective is to make sure that you are entering at a point which you think in your mind is a good, by judgment call, is a good dip. And then if you are satisfied with the gains, start realizing some of the profits. I explained how to realize some of the profits in my episode 15, which is why I kind of take my profits. And I am always prepared for a 2018 like crash. If it crashes like the beginning of 2018, when all the cryptos nearly lost like 80-70% of its value, I am prepared for it, because what I explained in my episode 15, I keep realizing my profits. So if it drops down in value, I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to hold it till it gains back in value, and I'm able to do that because of the fact that I'm continuously realizing the profit. So keep some goals in mind. Like for example, if you invested 1 lakh and sitting at 2 lakhs or more than 3 lakhs, and you don't realize any profit, and then it suddenly falls to less than 1 lakh, right? You're sitting at a loss, and you would have seen a lot of paper profits. It will be really, really hard to take it at that point of time. So make sure that when you're starting to exceed 100% plus in terms of profits, make sure that you start to realize some profits. It's better to realize some profit than to think that it's going to go up, and what if it goes up, I'll be missing out on opportunity. It's better to miss out on an opportunity than to see all your paper profits completely wiped off. So I'm not asking you to completely, I don't completely sell off the asset, but at least I start to take my profits from it. So I have realized profits from every crypto and not just sitting on a paper profit scenario. So for example, when my cryptos have done 300%, 400%, I definitely make sure that I am realizing some of the profits from it, so that I am prepared when my crypto are going to face a scenario like the 2018 crash. Then I can actually handle that, and I can wait for, even if it takes like another 2 years to recover, like it has happened with the 2018 crash, I can wait for it. So, have some targets in mind, and only then you will be able to work towards it. Otherwise, you'll be always thinking that what if it goes up higher, and you will end up not selling anything. By the time that it actually starts to crash, it could be very quick that you might end up wiping out all your paper profits within a flash, because you didn't actually realize your profits. So injector protocol, why did I buy it on the 22nd, right? Same concept, the one that I explained. This is a perfect example. So when I decided to buy the injector protocol, it was somewhere around the 14th or the 15th that I actually looked at the protocol, looked at the objective that they are doing, and it was actually going up at that point of time. And 16th, it had actually peaked. It went up to about 273 rupees in Indian value, and it was actually peaking. It was around roughly about 2.70 pence at that point of time. And I had decided by the time that I'm going to buy it, and I was waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a retrace, where if it falls down in value, then I'll buy it. And the retrace started happening around the 18th or 19th, and roughly around it was from about 153 rupees, it went up to 273, and roughly around the 20th 21st December, it was coming closer to the 200 rupee mark. I kind of expected that it will probably not go below the 200 rupee mark, but again, that was basically a best guess estimate at this point, judgment call, I would say, at that point. So I decided to enter at the roughly around the 21st mark, and I tweeted on the 22nd when I started looking at it and started slightly going up, and that was kind of the dip that I had bought. So if you look at it, it had gone up to 273, by which time I decided I'm going to buy, but I bought it at a dip, and you can clearly see that multiple times it has had dips. It had gone up to 350 rupees, come down to 300 rupees. It had gone down to about 337 rupees and again come down to the 200s. Basically, you will, any decent crypto, when it goes up, it doesn't always go up in a straight line. I mean, if you look at it, and if a crypto always went up in a straight line without these retraces or dips, then it's probably an exception scenario and not something normal. Normally, most of the cryptos, if you actually look and closely observe the graph over every day, it has a dip or it has a retrace point, which is probably the good point to enter. So kind of opened up a poll where I'm asking for your opinion in terms of the next topics that I should cover, because the people have given me a lot of topics that they are interested to see, and I kind of wanted to rank these topics so that's easier for me to prepare the content, because it takes me like almost a week to prepare each of this content, and I wanted to make sure that I prioritize my content so that it's in the right order as per what the audience want or what the viewers want. So Picoin, obviously I spoke about it in one of the videos, but I had to remove it. So the update and valuation about it. Binance, people have asked for a detailed demo. I've shown a little bit of demo in episode 15. People are asking for a detailed demo. So probably do one detailed demo of Binance like I did for other platforms. Bitrue, how to use the VIP Power Piggy program and the BTR lockups. Probably people are asking for a detailed demo there as well. USDT, the warning that I wanted to give in terms of why you shouldn't be holding the Tether stablecoin, and the fundamental reasons behind why it could probably be a bad idea to hold your assets in USDT or hold balances in USDT. I said you can trade using USDT, but why it's a bad idea to hold your balances in USDT. And again, looping the version 2 and the ZK rollups is probably a bit too technical, but at some point I probably want to cover that as well. And related topic is the non-custodial wallets and the DeFi, decentralized finance, liquidity mining. It's not that easy to do the liquidity mining, but I probably want to cover it at some point of time. People are interested. And again, best alternatives for Coinbase to withdraw money to your bank account in UK. And that's probably UK specific, because Coinbase sometimes are saying that you can't withdraw it to the particular bank accounts. So another topic is the alternatives for XRP to transfer between exchanges. Like I kind of explained, XLM is one option, but wanted to probably give like 4 or 5 options and explain why. And then one topic that probably I had in mind is the top 5 investing tips. Most of the things that we've talked about, but I wanted to kind of collate it and probably just make sure that these are my top 5 investing tips that I would say that one must pay attention. So I've created a poll already. So if you can basically vote for what you want, and I think currently the top 5 investing tips is leading. So make sure that you go and vote your if you want one of those topics, then vote for it, and I'll prioritize based on the votes that these options have got or these topics have got. So hopefully this video was again useful for you, and do post your comments. Until next time, thank you, bye.